Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar. You might as well consider this an intervention because woohoo, Todd Howard's here to pitch a game. And I might be like, whoa, what's up with the title? Never trust Todd Howard. You know, there's two game developers, two game designers, two game industry individuals that I never ever trust. One of them is Todd Howard and one of them is Peter Molyneux. Now, of course, Todd Howard's a bit better than Peter Molyneux. Like, Peter Molyneux is the, hey guys, remember Fable and the Acorn? Remember that? No. Todd's a little bit better. Todd will tell you that certain games have 16 times the details and he'll always shill Fallout 76. But you know, time is new for Bethesda. Bethesda's not had the best sort of reputation, if you will. You know, they've had an engine as outdated as the time itself, and frankly, now it's time to get a fresh start. They've got a brand new IP. Now, the Xbox showcase just happened, and I don't really care much about the Xbox showcase, just because like it had a Hideo Kojima thing, and I'm interested to see how that one plays out. But what I was really looking for was Starfield, which is sort of the new single player IP from Bethesda. Now, of course, never ever trust Todd Howard. I want to jump right into it, rip the band-aid off. Let's look at some Starfield gameplay, okay? Let's get in!
You're spending the time, and we know you've waited a long time to finally see Starfield. It's easily our most ambitious game ever, like our previous games.
He says this about every goddamn game that ever comes out. You never take that at face value. To be fair, I can't crap on Todd Howard too hard. Literally every game designer says, this is the most ambitious title we have ever made. Let's go forward and see some actual gameplay. Because we've only ever seen, like logos for this game. Let's see what Starfield actually looks like. Now here they've got the game's graphics engine. Now this is running on Creation Engine 2, and I've seen people say the graphics kinda suck. Look, I don't know what's wrong with you. I think this looks absolutely fine. It's giving me Star Citizen vibes, except this is actually closer to completion than Star Citizen single player, so actually it looks pretty damn cool. Now, the gameplay loop I've been seeing floating around on the internet is people comparing this to No Man's Sky, simply because of its open nature and flying around on numerous planets, and you'll see with the mining and the investigation gameplay. But here, there's been some frame rate issues, and you're going to be noticing like the actual framiness on the clouds, wild. But I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that this is an alpha build of the game, so obviously the game is or like a beta build, so the game is obviously going to have some performance issues. I don't believe it's optimized for the Xbox systems or PC at the moment. And then here's where people have been comparing the No Man's Sky, like the scanner tool, like they've been surveying all the items over here. Now initially, looking at the HUD over here, you can see like they've got your health indication, 10 frag grenades. Obviously, it's a Bethesda game. You can stick these things up your ass, for crying out loud. They don't care, as long as you're not over-encumbered. You've got firearms, and they've also got an oxygen gauge and a CO2 gauge, and Crete as well. So they've got like a day-night cycle, and it gives you an idea of like where the planet is just looking at that. So obviously they've even got like wildlife, which I think visually and I think the locations they've got look pretty cool. Now obviously you can see the Fallout Elder Scrolls DNA. But yeah, they've got like general enemies and whatnot. You can actually see like where the similarities to like Fallout 4 come in just the terms of gameplay. Oh hell yeah, there's some mining. Here's where people compared it to No Man's Sky. There's some resource hunting, obviously. I think this is going to be a big focal point of the game. So if you're somebody that loves crafting and building shacks, you're gonna be bricked up for this game, no problem. Space P90, baby. Okay, all right. I always like it when games have like conventional style weaponry, like it's not all fucking laser rifles. I appreciate that. But here it is, they're rushing in. The combat gameplay looks very similar to like, again, Fallout 76, Fallout 4. Like, nothing is deviated in that regard. And to that extent, the gameplay wasn't bad in those games either. Now here's where it gets really wild. Look at how many shots it takes to end them. Bro, you emptied an entire mag, like half a mag into these people, and they're barely dying. Here it is. We've got like more shots going in. I don't know why we're not ADSing. Every time you see like somebody doing an E3 presentation, it's always like just it's like people who don't play video games play the E3 presentation. They've got lockpicking. We've seen this in Fallout Elder Scroll games. Nothing really necessarily new, but yes, there is dungeons and outposts and loot to constantly find and weapons to unlock, and this is one of the various legendary weapons, it seems. And of course, more enemies, and holy crap, the combat looks fucking boring. Okay, so, alright, that's like the very beginning of the game, okay? Obviously, one of the mission logs literally said one small step. That's like an intro mission style deal. So obviously, you saw a little bit of the combat, you saw a little bit of the mining, so obviously you can see what Starfield's kind of going for, okay? It's an open world Bethesda RPG game, alright? That's pretty much what it is. If you played Fallout, you played Elder Scrolls, I think you understand the general gameplay loop to be expecting here. Okay, so now let's see some city gameplay. Cool, hub worlds. Alright, so I can already tell you right now, compared to like Star Citizen, I like this realization a lot more. Like you actually have like societies and civilians walking around. Like, I keep saying Star Citizen, but that game hasn't even been completed. Every other space game has come out and finished itself and updated. So it's kind of cool to see them actually finish this game. I'm sure that there's going to be a few of these cities around, and I'm glad to see that there's like, you know, some thought going on. It's not like lifeless planets you keep going to. Oh, Todd, you're going to show me the character creation? Let's go, baby. Okay. So the character creator, it looks like your standard Bethesda creator, which is obviously like always pretty good. I never have an issue with the Bethesda creators myself, so obviously you can pick your walk styles, your body type, whatever you are, your hair colors, everything. But what's really important is I want to see like the trait system here. So they've got like backgrounds that you can pick, obviously. So obviously, beyond just that, right, there's backgrounds that you can pick, and you can see you've got Beast Hunter, Bouncer, Bounty Hunter, Chef, Combat Medic, Cyber Runner, which sounds really interesting, so there's going to be like a hacking component to it, Ronin, which I'm pretty sure is somebody that's going to be like a space samurai, Gangster. I like the fact that all these backgrounds are very much different. Like, they actually, like, one of the biggest complaints I had in like Fallout 4 or anything was that they literally just gave you two backgrounds, military guy or lawyer wife, whereas in this game, it's like you really do have a wide selection to pick from in terms of your background. Now, I hope this actually changes where you spawn in the entire game world or something, like a little bit of a prologue thing if you're going for it. But you've also got the trait system, which is super duper cool. You've got entire, you know, perk trees to get into. So you've got a physical tree, a social tree, combat tree, science, and tech. So obviously there's multiple paths you're going to be taking to you know, up your character or get better over time. There's researches that you can get into, so pharmacology, food, drink, outpost development, weapons, equipment. So there are full crafting systems, there are full everything. So if you're one of those people that loves that shit, this is the game for you. Yeah, the combat does not excite me though, like I'll be real. Now they've got the outpost builder, which I'll be real, it looks literally identical to the Fallout settlement builder, like even from a menu perspective. Now obviously, I like that aspect of Fallout 4, I think this is something that I'll get into. Like I like building outposts and they look pretty like heavy. You can also like hire up people like from various parts of the galaxy to join in. So I do appreciate this aspect. I think there's going to be a lot of grind in this game and a lot of, you know, outpost building over time. So this seems generally pretty cool. I mean, the interiors of some of these ships look pretty well realized. Now, speaking of just the ships, there's also like straight up ship builders in this game. So you can actually build a ship or whatever. I'm sure there's going to be like an easy way to build a ship, but there's almost like an infinite possibility, and I like it. And of course, like Todd Howard showcases it, you can in fact fly your ship throughout the galaxy, and you better be able to fly your ship. I do want to fly my ship and get into space combat, so yeah, you know, this genuinely does feel like a pretty sick game, and it really does feel like I can seamlessly go in and out of planets, which, if you could do that in No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous, and Star Citizen, you should be very much able to do it in a game made by Bethesda. Especially a game that's now basically an Xbox first party. There's no budget issues here. Now, obviously, everything sounds pretty cool, but you might wonder, wow, Muda, is the galaxy literally just 3 planets? This is where, like, it gets into Sweet Little Lies territory. Let's watch this.
You can also land and explore
anywhere
on the planet.
Not just a city, you can land anywhere on this planet.
It's all the planets in the system.
Okay, all right.
Resource-heavy ice balls to Goldilocks planets with life. And not just this system, but over 100 systems. Over 1,000 planets, all open for you to explore. We can't wait to see what you find.
Alright, let me explain something about the map size situation. Now, this got people a little bit freaked out. Let me start off by saying something, okay? Obviously, I think there's going to be like 20, 30 planets that Bethesda makes that are actually handcrafted with like actual things worth seeing. When Todd Howard says 1,000-something planets, I want you to understand he probably wants you to land on each and every single one of these planets, and they're just going to be like resource dumps, okay? So basically, that's going to be a big portion of the game. getting a fuck ton of resources to build some outposts, to research technology to better your character. I'm pretty sure that's how this game is going to go. So most of these planets are mostly going to be like resource dumps with like a few odd like outposts hidden around. To be real, it seems like a very roundabout way of doing the Mass Effect 1 Mako missions, which, might I remind you, were not the most exciting missions in the entire first game, and I'm so glad that they eschewed them in Mass Effect 2 and 3. Now, let me just stop by saying this. All these comparisons to like No Man's Sky, I think, are a little bit out there. Obviously, you can have similar games, very similar games, and them both still having a place, all right? You don't have to buy Starfield if you just want No Man's Sky. But the general idea that I'm getting over here is the combat doesn't seem too terribly exciting to me. The crafting and the outpost building seems okay and interesting because I'm a huge like fan of that kind of stuff anyways. Like, I'm a huge settlement guy, but I don't think that's going to be the one thing carrying me through it. The storyline and the way that Todd Howard describes it are stories, so I actually think there's going to be multiple different side stories for somebody to achieve. There's going to be a main story, obviously, but I think the big benefit of a Bethesda title is never the main story. Like, I never played the main story for any of these games until I've done all the side shit anyways. Then I do the main stuff. So if they're actually focusing on the entire lore and the factions and if this game allows me to just go in and be a bad pirate, like a bad guy the entire way through, just like I could be in the Dark Brotherhood and like Elder Scrolls, I am 1000% down for that kind of shit. Now, to be honest, I'm kind of a little bit hyped, but I'm tempering all my expectations, because you can never trust Todd Howard, ever, when it comes to this kind of shit, especially with the last games Bethesda has released thus far. See, for me, Starfield seems like a absolutely, like spiritual successor to something like Freelancer. If you don't understand or know Freelancer, it's a super old game from back in the Windows 98 days. I think the Windows XP days, if I'm going to be real here. It's an old game where basically you fly around, you buy ships, you explore the galaxies, you do trades, you do hunts, you do space stuff, all right? And this game, the way that I'm seeing it, feels like a single-player variant of Freelancer 2, which the only surviving footage of it looks absolutely amazing. And if Starfield ever reiterates those kind of graphics, especially the Nebula tech from back in those days, I think I can absolutely consider this to be one of the best Bethesda games that are coming out. I would absolutely be down to play it. Now, honestly, this game to me feels like a very nice single-player version of what Star Citizen should have been and should have released with. So, being a fan of space games, I can definitely see myself getting into this, but given what we've just seen, I think this is going to take some more time to ferment. It does feel like a much more crunchier version of No Man's Sky, if that makes any sense. Something much more realistic in terms of, keeping itself grounded, keeping itself very much into like a, like the traditional sci-fi style of space exploration. I am kind of down to play Starfield. Now, of course, I'm going into this with completely bated breath. Listen, the last few single-player games that I've gotten myself hyped for, admittedly, games like Cyberpunk 2077, games even like Fallout 76, which I was totally on board to play, have absolutely never tickled my pickle. And, to be real with you, keeping my expectations so low, so tempered, is the only way to go in this case. The biggest Xbox reveal, Starfield, is something that I'm piqued. I have my interest there for, but like everything Todd Howard does, I keep it with complete bated breath. And to be real with you, this game could either be one of the best games that Bethesda ever craps out, one of the best, I'm not joking on that one, or this video is going to be downloaded by a Crowdcat, and you all know where that's going to be leading. This might be an amazing game, or it might be an amazing internet historian video. We'll have to find out in 2023 when Starfield officially launches. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because, yes, I did see this gameplay, and it's the only thing that I was excited for, the only thing that really piqued my interest, and from what I've seen, bit mixed feelings going on. I like the exploration. I think the combat needs an update. Let's see how it rolls out. Let's see if those thousands of planets, Todd, are all going to be fun, or if they just turn out to be boring resource dumps. We'll have to find out. This is me, Mutahar, reminding you, please don't pre-order. Wait, it's not like they're going to run out of digital copies anyways. Plus, this shit's on Game Pass day one, so don't pre-order it. Don't give Todd your money ahead of time. We've already all made that mistake. I am out.